AI just made a soul cover of a classic rock song.
Hello, hello, with the lights out, it's less dangerous. Here we are now, entertain us.
A hip hop classic.
It's still Dre Day, brother, AK brother, though I've grown a lot, can't keep it home alive.
Arguably a modern day pop classic.
First time, and I was like, baby, 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 oh, like
A Post Malone song.
you're the sunflower. I think your love would be too much.
A country cover of Michael Jackson.
Billie Jean ain't my lover. She's just a girl who claims that I am the one. Well, the kid is not my son.
And an 80s soft rock version of the Foo Fighters.
If anything could ever be this good again.
And they all sound incredible. They do. But here's where it gets complicated, because it was trained on someone else's art. But then again, so was I. And I'd bet so were you. Every musician is a remix of their influences. And John Mayer spoke about this when he was writing an article for Rolling Stone about Jimi Hendrix. And he said, "Who I am as a guitarist is defined by my failure to become Jimi Hendrix. However far you stop on your climb to be like him, that's who you are." And the world's best producers, they shape songs based on decades and decades of listening, experience, and instinct, and which is, their own training data. So maybe the real question isn't if AI copies or not, but whether we're okay admitting that we all do. Is AI really doing anything different? Or is it just doing it faster, louder, and without sleep? It's a really tricky conversation that I've been finding myself falling into with musician and creative friends, and even people that aren't creative. Things are moving so quickly, and it's confusing and scary, and people don't like change. And everyone holds their art with a gravitas of importance, and as they should. It means things. It's all about, a lot of people chase metrics and different things, but ultimately it's about the process and creating things and, working your way through those kind of little, each song's kind of like a bit of therapy in itself. When I write, I'm searching for something human, something that moves me, imperfection, feeling, timing, a rabbit hole that won't stop niggling at me that I've got to get off my chest, or my subconscious has to kind of try and explain or overthink to itself. And that spark doesn't come from a data set. It can be encapsulated in a data set, and as humans we all feel similar things. I think it's impossible to deny how powerful AI tools are and are becoming, especially creatively as an idea starter, or even a mirror to kind of show you what's possible. AI is great at assisting that. But it's trained on prediction from massive data sets, and it can't, originate that lived and felt human intent. Legally, we're still finding out who owns what in the space. The courts are still deciding whether AI learning is copying. And ethically, it's blurry, but art always has been. And every generation's had its copy and paste moment. Sampling, photography, remix culture, auto-tune, sample packs, and now AI. Every generation has yelled at clouds. I think the problem with AI is it just scales it to infinity, And each one of these technological advances, be them good or bad, they each force us to ask, where does the human part begin and end, and the machine begin and end? I remember talking to my pop when he was still alive, and he spoke about how his family on the farm worked with, horses, pulling carts and plows and different things. And not long after he kind of went out on his own for a kind of 9-to-5 job in the city, they invested in a tractor. And that just completely changed their productivity on the farm, the scope. their capacity and what they could, how tired they were at the end of the day. So these things, nothing's, new. Change is constant, as they say. And even though I'm only 20, I've seen a lot of different things, changes in my life, from, the internet to the iPhone to twerking to, lots of things in my time here on Earth. And maybe AI is just our musical tractor. I think with any emerging technology like this, especially AI, not being involved or just ignoring it completely is a risk in and itself. So I'm not running from it. I'm using it. I'm exploring things with it. I'm making sure my songs are registered with my pro APRA before, at all showing AI anything. If that makes a difference or not, I'm not sure. Let me know in the comments. But I still believe the best songs start from silence, not from code or a data set. And it's just, a guy, a girl, a person, a human being with an instrument or an idea just sitting there. And that's where it comes from, me personally. And I've currently been experimenting with sites like Suno to develop demos, try different harmonies, test keys, tempos, vibes, etc. And they're amazing. I don't think you can argue that, they sound great. And it's just mind blowing that a machine, machines made these recordings. It's really amazing. As a time poor dad as well, that has, noise restrictions in place at night, self-imposed, I'll say, but, things like this at times, they're like a blessing in disguise to be able to keep my creative juices flowing and just feel like I'm moving closer to, on that journey of the songwriting and life and creating music along the way. It feels at times when it's super busy and you don't feel like you're playing as much, singing as much, or writing as much as you should. Different little tools like this can help you feel like you're getting some momentum and moving forward, which is really great. And it may come as a surprise to some people, but slowly the machine has been integrating and blurring the lines in the creative space and most styles of music. Like, what's a drum machine? What's an arpeggiator? What's a loop pedal? A delay pedal? What's the latest Splice loop pack? Apple Logic session player? I could go on, but I won't. But human music and machine, it's all slowly becoming a blur. For me, I still write away from the machine, but in saying that, at times I will just put a guitar idea or vocal idea through a loop pedal and just let it run and kind of meditate on that idea until something pops up. That normally works. So they're not all right. But ultimately, I think the exciting thing, if all those confusing, legal issues can be worked out with AI, it's speeding up my process. It's such a tricky conversation. It's such a broad conversation, I think it's fair to say AI can remix the past from its data sets, but it can't feel the future. They can't overthink situations or the future or get anxious about the future. That's us. That's humanity, and that's where art and creativity and songs come from, I think, personally. So that's still ours. Every generation finds its line, between inspiration and imitation. And I just think AI's made that line impossible to see. So what do you think? Is AI good, bad? Is it stealing? Is it evolving art? How are you using it in your art? I want to know. I've been having this conversation a lot with people of late, and it's genuinely interesting and scary and worrying, I guess, too, at the same time. It's a multifaceted conversation. But let me know your thoughts below. And I hope you enjoyed me rambling in this video with my thoughts on AI music. And gonna have a new song coming out before Christmas. I'll have some more info about that in a later video. And take care of yourself.